Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick, and joining me equally as always is Devon.
What's up, guys?
Yeah! Before we get too far into today's topic at hand, let's start with our good old time-honoured tradition of the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. And do you have one for me today?
I do. You get to pick any Marvel superhero, anyone at all, with the caveat of they can't have already had a movie or show.
Bastard, this is exactly what I was going to ask you.
Well, this is good. This is great. Which Marvel character do you give a movie or a show? And what is that movie show going to be about?
I'm giving a show to Squirrel Girl.
Oh, fuck you.
Because I think it would be funny.
It'd have to be a cartoon.
Almost certainly. Partly because it would be difficult to have a normal human going around with that enormous arse.
What are you talking about? CG exists, and even if it didn't, there's plenty of shapely women.
Yeah, there is. Sure. There's. I think her name is Randlin. A lady with an enormous arse who's on like Instagram and whatever. But yeah, the idea is that whenever Squirrel Girl goes into her human civilian disguise, she puts her tail in her jeans and just walks around with an enormous badonkadonk ass.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone could tell by my instant reaction, but I don't really like Squirrel Girl.
Man, it makes me sad because I think she's a fun character.
I'm sure she is. I don't like gag characters where the joke is I can beat everyone, fuck you. Like, because that's what Squirrel Girl is. It's like, doesn't matter what the situation is, I will always come out unscathed. Now, I know some people will turn around and go, Deadpool, but Deadpool isn't a Thanos killer.
Yeah, and Squirrel Girl also defeated Deadpool. In fact, I think that was one of her earliest conquests, I think, was beating Deadpool when he was more of a heel that happened to be hired by villains more often.
But again, my point is, like, a gag character who, as soon as they're involved, means any evil villain character is not a real threat anymore, is redundant. I don't like it. The joke is they could beat everyone even though their power set is primitive.
Apart from Galactus, but she stopped Galactus by becoming his friend.
Which is still a gag character thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, they beat the threat, therefore, like, it's stupid. I hate it. It's like, I give it a pass because it's a Lego game, so who gives a shit? But like the way you beat Galactus in the Lego Marvel game, at least the first one, was you make a giant replica cake of the Earth and Galactus eats that instead.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that's the sort of shit that you'd get in a Squirrel Girl comic.
Yeah, I didn't play much of that game, but I do remember that being a thing, and you would just go,
It was only 15 levels.
Okay, but I didn't own the game. I played it at someone else's house.
Okay, fair enough then. I'm just saying. That's less than Lego Star Wars. Pick any of them.
Yeah, in fact, it's only 50% longer than one of the episodes of Lego Star Wars.
One episode of Lego Star Wars is 6.
Was it 6? I thought they were all 10.
Maybe it was 10. I could have sworn it was 6.
You could be right, though. Like,
no, it might have been 10. I'm probably being an idiot. Don't worry about me. It's been a while since I played a Lego game.
Yeah, ditto. So yeah, my answer is Squirrel Girl, and then I will turn the same question back on you. You get to pick any Marvel character who has been, a Marvel character, hasn't had their own show or movie, potentially one that has appeared in a movie, just, hasn't been focused on, because as we both know, you can have a very good series out of someone who's already had an appearance, like Hawkeye, and you give them a movie or show. What do you give them?
With that in mind, this isn't my actual answer, but I would love if they actually did fucking Mandarin properly in the MCU, because that still grinds my gears.
Yeah, they glossed over it twice. First as a fake, and second as a one and done movie villain.
Now he's
comes and goes.
100% established gag character in the MCU.
Yeah.
And also, what a waste of fucking Ben Kingsley. But anyway,
at least they got him back.
I suppose. I just whatever. Also, they can't really do him justice now because Iron Man's gone. But
yeah, totally. I think they might actually bring something like that back for Ironheart, like a Mandarin 3.0, maybe. I don't know.
We'll get to it when we get to it, I suppose. But my actual answer is I'd do Captain Britain and his fucking Knights of the Round Table, or whatever the fuck the dumb team's called.
Oh, where he's got weaponized good feelings.
I suppose, but it's still an interesting enough character, you know what I mean? Like, you could revamp that character for the silver screen. I think it would do better as a TV show than a movie, because their powers aren't aren't, like, you're not going to put them on par with the fucking Fantastic Four.
No. So yeah, I would say that a TV show would probably be better, because you could probably have a like an episode focus on the roundtable each.
I don't know if that's what their team name's called, but it's something stupid like that, because whenever something focuses on Britain, it always inevitably ends up referring to fucking Arthurian legend.
Yeah, the thing that ended so well.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think it would be interesting. It would be nice to get a bit more of a bone as far as British superheroes go in the MCU. I can't think of any off the top of my head, although I'm sure there's one. I think we got the fucking Black Knight coming, but that's about it.
Yeah, we've got him coming. We've also obviously got multiple instances of Captain Carter. We've got her as...
Oh, that doesn't count. She was in a cartoon, and then she got one-shotted in the film she was in.
Yeah, she got one-shotted by her own shield in the film she was in.
Ugh. I mean, I get it. I know how wrestling booking goes. If you want someone to look threatening, you have to have them fucking job someone out.
On TV trope, they call it the Worf effect.
Yeah, wrestling outdates that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Captain Britain and his fucking roundtable bullshit. But yeah, I think it was a decent question to go with, especially considering the recent string of announcements. Speaking of, I know I was going to have you throw to me, but we thought, seeing as we'll be brutally honest with you guys, there's not a lot to talk about with Miss Marvel. So I threw the suggestion that San Diego Comic-Con literally just happened.
Yes.
As of time of recording, and we got a timeline for both Phase 4 and Phase 6. I say Phase 6 quite loosely because they gave away very little. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun if we go through the list one by one and sort of, before we get into the Miss Marvel review, just talk about what we expect from it, what could happen, what interesting things might crop up, etc, etc. We're going to gloss over Phase 4 because Phase 4 is literally just She-Hulk later in the year, as well as Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, which personally I'm not that invested in, except Namor. That's going to be cool. But yeah, let's go through this. We're going to go through it one by one as far as the timeline dictates. First things first, Ant-Man Quantumania, movie February 17th, 2023.
Sweet. That's probably the one that's most interesting in the very short term, at least. Obviously, we just had Thor. I've still not seen it, but Ant-Man is the other heavy hitter from, current Avengers that's actually worth a movie, really.
I mean, I'm looking at the poster, and it looks like they have Kang in the background, so that's kind of interesting in its own right. But also, it's Ant-Man, it's Wasp, and another character who I'm not personally familiar with, who has a similar outfit to Ant-Man, but is purple and clearly a girl.
Okay, I've not seen that one. It might be his mum, not his mum.
His daughter?
Hope's mum, Janet Van Dyne. Yeah.
Do you not think it's Ant-Man's daughter?
Oh yeah.
And the only reason I know Ant-Man's got a daughter in the film is because that's who he desperately seeks out the moment he gets big again in Endgame.
Yeah. Because she's had her plot relevant age up of plus 5 years, and is no longer 10.
That's
They've had 5 years out.
Go on, sorry.
They've had 5 years out. She's aged up from 10 to 19.
Yeah, that would be my guess, but I'm just going based off well, you can't see faces, you know who Wasp is and Ant-Man is. Their costumes are iconic at this point.
Yep. And I think she's like a Goliath kind of character. I think she's like a giant girl or something. They play more on her growing rather than shrinking.
Yeah, except you could say that about Ant-Man, because Ant-Man, depending on what fucking version of the comic you read, used to be Giant Man.
Yeah, totally.
And as we know, Ant-Man has both. It's just he prefers to go small than big. But yes, next up on the list is Secret Invasion, a Disney Plus show, spring 2023. They don't list an episode count. I think they need more than 6 to pull that off.
Yeah, I think all they can actually do with that is set up the whole idea of the Secret Invasion rather than cover the entire everything that happens. Because when I was looking at Secret Invasion stuff, Secret Invasion, Secret War kind of things all tend to do with Skrulls, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with it now that Skrulls are good guys.
I mean, we touched on this the other day on a bit of a private chat, but there's so many things you can do. Like, as with any species or race, not everyone's not universally good nor universally bad, so you could just do that for one. Failing that, we're in multiverse territory.
Yes, totally.
So it's just like, here's the Skrulls from MCU 202. They're evil!
To be honest, in multiverse world, it might as well be, oh yeah, this is an actual copy of the same character who's a baddie.
Yeah, but that's lazy. But then again, no offense to the guys who put a bunch of effort into the MCU, but they do tend to take the easy route with certain plot beats.
Generally, they'll normally put some twist or other in there that that's kind of interesting to keep people who know everything on their toes.
Yeah, but the last twist that was interesting to me was, Skrulls are good guys in this universe.
Yeah, totally.
So, next up is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, movie, May 5th, 2023. It's going to be James Gunn madness. We know Adam Warlock's going to be involved because that was the stinger for the end of 2. It's very odd that they're It's very odd that they're adding Adam Warlock after Thanos is gone.
It is a bit weird, isn't it?
Because Adam Warlock's the reason why he's such a big deal is, like, 8 times out of 10, he is the solution to Thanos.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, it's going to be usual James Gunn madness. Of that, I don't doubt. Plus, we got a bit of a teaser with the beginning of Love and Thunder. Not much else to speculate on that, really. I don't think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to affect the MCU as a whole that much.
No, I think the idea of that is that it's telling you where the Guardians are now, what they're doing now. They tend to be somewhere else in the universe. That tends to be their thing.
Yeah, but that's also the deal with Miss Marvel. Not Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. Fuck, sorry.
Yeah, Captain Marvel,
She used to be called Miss Marvel, guys.
Yeah, she did. She was called that in the very first time that I saw her, which was Ultimate Alliance 1. She only became Captain Marvel after Ultimate Alliance 2 as well. So she was still Ms. Marvel in that. And then there wasn't another Ultimate Alliance for like 15 years.
Yeah, and then it was fucking Switch exclusive.
Yeah.
But whatever. Next up is Echo, a Disney Plus show, summer 2023. I know fuck all about Echo. The first time I saw her, I thought she was fucking Cloak or Dagger from Cloak and Dagger, but she is clearly not.
Yeah, so before you even said that, that was pretty much what I was going to say. I know absolutely zero about this character.
So it could be interesting. It could be a wash. Considering it's a Disney Plus show, I'm going to assume that, again, she's a character who doesn't have Avenger, Fantastic Four level powers.
Yeah, totally.
By her name, I assume it's going to have something to do with fucking supersonic bullshit, right?
Yeah, sound, echolocation.
Yeah.
Or she's just got second copy of herself or something.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Anyhow, next up is Loki Season 2, another Disney Plus show, which is also summer 2023. As you know...
That's one that I technically am looking forward to, but I'm also kind of jaded by, because we wanted Loki to be good, and it was fine, but the most interesting thing that happened was being told, oh yeah, Loki will return in Season 2, because this entire Season 1 was a bit of a cockblock.
Yeah, and I'm still bothered that we didn't actually get confirmation in the show that is Kang the Conqueror. We had to get told after we watched the show by the showrunners, oh yeah, that's Kang. It's like, cool, great. Couldn't have said that in the fucking show.
Yeah.
Because no offense, Kang looks like just a normal dude in Loki.
He's a normal dude that giggles a bit, yeah.
So, no offense to the actor, he did a great job, but he didn't look like Kang, which meant I didn't know that was meant to be Kang.
Yeah, he's not wearing a helmet and his face isn't blue.
Kang's design in the comics is pretty fucking dumb. But, you know, any more of a nod than none at all. That's all I'm asking for. Anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Next up on the list is relevant to today's retrospective, The Marvels movie, July 28th, 2023, which is going to be something involving both Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and I can't remember her rank, but Rambo.
Oh yeah, Monica Rambeau, yeah.
Yeah. Which is probably the most interesting, or the part I'm most interested in as far as that movie is concerned, because I don't know what the fuck they're doing with that character.
Yeah, me either. Apparently there was a big ol' schism between them, and she don't like Carol Danvers anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I know, and that was from WandaVision, wasn't it?
Yeah, WandaVision's when she got her version of the Captain Marvel powers.
Yeah. Just got given powers from ostensibly an Infinity Stone, but kind of not. She got hers from she got edited to having powers by chaos magic.
Which is a thing that happens in the comics more often than not, surprisingly enough. But
true.
Not to this character specifically, but Wanda's powers take and give of powers at whim, apparently. Well, that's the nature of chaos magic in the comics.
Yeah, taking powers away was the big one when she just went, okay, no more mutants, which was a big fuck you to Fox at the time.
Well, not really, because that was House of M comics exclusive.
Oh yeah, totally. But the idea was, it was to, if they reduce the number of new comics being made on something, then they reduce the amount of source material for Fox to make X-Men movies out of.
Yeah, but fuck off, because Fox never respected the source material anyway.
No.
But regardless, I do remember back when WandaVision was first airing, me and a couple of other people were speculating that the way mutants and X-Men, etc., was going to get introduced to the MCU was going to be a reverse House of M with Wanda's powers going ape shit. And I remember getting really hyped because, oh, that's the Fox's version of Quicksilver. And then it was just a penis joke.
Yeah.
Which, bad Disney. Anyhow.
Yeah, because her just going, okay, mutants now, is actually a pretty fun way of doing it, but oh well.
Yeah, but again, explicitly not purposeful, because again, the nature of Wanda's magic is meant to be chaos, random, she can't control it entirely, but when she does, it's a problem.
Yes.
Case in point, Doctor Strange. Anyway, next up is the Blade movie, November 3rd, 2023. I'm weirdly looking forward to this.
Kinda, yeah. So Blade was one of those things when I was growing up that nobody knew it was Marvel until you saw someone in Spider-Man cartoon who was also called Blade.
Dude, do you want to know want to hear a very funny anecdote?
Go ahead.
For a brief period of time, well, I say brief period, for quite a while, Wesley Snipes used to go around telling people that he's responsible for creating the MCU, with the first ever Marvel movie being Blade, and eventually this story got looped back around to Kevin Feige, or Feige, I don't know how to pronounce his surname, my apologies. He, in an interview, someone said this, and he just looked at the guy asking the question and just goes, "That's untrue." The balls on Wesley Snipes thinking he kickstarted the MCU. Fucking hell. But yeah, I don't really care that much about Blade. I never really watched the original films. However, I know the new actor for Blade is a fucking top quality actor. Everything he's in is pretty decent. He is a returning MCU actor. He actually played Cottonmouth in the Luke Cage Netflix series.
Okay.
So a lot of people theorize that one of the reasons he got the Blade gig is because he got really shafted in Luke Cage. He was in it for half a season and he was the most interesting part and then got killed off. Spoiler for a fucking thing that's been out for 10 years.
Fair enough. Be interesting to see then, because all we've heard from Blade so far is his voice.
This is true. I think you're familiar with the actor. Did you watch Alita Battle Angel?
I did. It was a while ago, but I did.
Yeah, he's the villain.
Okay.
The dude who reveals the fucking eyeballs and brains in jars and sending them up to fucking Euphoria or whatever the fuck that place is called.
Yeah, On High or whatever it's called.
Yeah, like very chilling. He can do chilling, and Blade is meant to be, despite the fact he's a hero, a cold character.
Yes.
Also, we're probably going to get the Black Knight shit showing up, considering Blade's voice appeared during that segment.
Yeah, his whole thing was just telling the guy, Kit Harington, don't pick up that sword yet, fuck off. You're not ready for it, dickhead.
It's like, you sure about that? Like that John, what was it, that fucking JonTron clip? Are you sure about this? But yes. Next up, we've mentioned it briefly, Ironheart, a Disney Plus show for fall 2023. How much do you know about Ironheart?
I know it's Riri Williams, who is the new Iron person. For a little while, she was the only Iron Man when Tony Stark was dead, and then he came back and she got downgraded to Ironheart. And I know that her number two, her War Machine, is Tony Ho, and I think Tony Ho is a much more interesting character. But that's by the by.
Well, seeing this is a Disney Plus show, I assume they're going to introduce more than just Ironheart. That being said, I've been told Ironheart is apparently making their debut in the Black Panther film, so... Okay,
fair enough.
As the actress has already been cast.
Yeah, so it seems like it's going to be the actual MCU successor to Iron Man, seeing as Peter Parker has been first disgraced and then forgotten about.
Potentially. The interesting thing about Ironheart is I know in the comics, for a brief period of time before they became Ironheart proper, they were Rescue.
Okay.
Which we've seen in the MCU, except that suit's taken up by Pepper Potts.
Yeah, it's the Pepper Potts, I wear this once because I have to suit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. I don't mind it. We need another Iron Man type character, not necessarily personality wise, but the moveset and the suits are so... It would be depressing if they didn't turn up again.
Yeah.
Next up on our list, we've got Agatha, Coven of Chaos, another Disney Plus show apparently slated for winter 2023.
I honestly don't know what to expect with this, because we could just have more witch stuff, and now that she's not against Wanda, and now that Wanda has had the historical villain upgrade, she could make it into a Loki-esque kind of hazy feel turn series.
Well, now, I just want to say this. In the comics, Agatha, specifically Agatha, is in fact the mentor / tutor to Scarlet Witch before she becomes Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is how they kickstart bringing Scarlet Witch back into the fold. Because, it's either that or Agatha's going to become the Scarlet Witch, which I wouldn't actually be a fan of because that doesn't make a lot of sense, but she's been coveting chaos the entire time. time. So with Wanda gone, that might be her chance or something. Who knows?
Yeah, it depends how much they keep chaos a constant in the universe rather than just have it as a person that has it or not.
This is the MCU. You got to bear in mind they nerf everything. Like,
oh yeah, totally.
The Eye of Agamotto is actually too powerful to have in the MCU, which is why in the MCU it's just a time stone.
Yeah, the Eye of Agamotto is just the thing that owns the time stone. It just it's a fucking amulet. That's all it is in the MCU.
in the comics, it's the reason why everyone is scared of Doctor Strange. I say scared. Like, good guys are usually all right with him, but yeah. Also, when Doctor Doom gets that thing, fuck. How do you feel about Doctor Doom, by the way, being one of the best examples of lawful evil?
I think like you say, he's one of the best examples. Like, he's got his own country. He rules it about as fairly as you can think from the inside looking out. Like, his people think he's fantastic. And yeah, literally lawful evil. He's actually a pretty good example of it. And most of what he does that's evil is just driven by pettiness over.
It's not even pettiness. It's not even 9 times out of 10, depending on the comic run. His motivation is, I need to rule the world because if I don't rule the world, Ultron takes over and kills everyone.
Yeah, fair enough.
Again, it depends on run and universe, but most of the time, his motivation is he received a vision of all the possible futures. The only future in which Ultron doesn't destroy the universe is the future with Doom in charge.
Yeah.
But yeah, that said, whenever there's a conflict between him and Reed Richards, he does go out his way to be a bit of a petty bitch about things.
Yeah. Yeah, because he can't accept his own failings is basically his main character flaw.
Yeah.
I think his main beef with Reed Richards is he can't accept that it was his own fault that he got disfigured. And even then, he's not actually disfigured. He's just got a little scar or something, and he feels the need to put on the massive fucking iron mask all the time because he's an edgelord.
He's also a sorcerer.
So he blames it all on Reed Richards now.
Can we also talk about how cool that is, by the way? Because Doctor Doom is a man of science, but also he is a master sorcerer.
Oh yeah, totally.
What the fuck?
It's such a great meeting in the middle of two diametrically opposed disciplines. But then again, even Doctor Strange is a surgeon, so it's not like he's illiterate to science.
But you know what I mean, though. He's like Nikola Tesla type of science.
Oh yeah. Like building stuff, inventing concepts kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, next up we've got Daredevil: Born Again, a Disney Plus show, and it very much specifies there's going to be 18 episodes, spring 2024. Just to put that into context, every other Disney Plus MCU show has been 6 episodes, so that's 3 times the amount. Oh, hang on a minute. Netflix had 3 seasons of Daredevil. Is this a reboot?
Reboot or retelling? We'll find out. I'm sure we'll see what happened to the Kingpin in this one.
They've announced that him and Daredevil, or rather Charlie Cox, have both been announced as being in it, so... Yeah,
we've seen the Daredevil actor show up in Spider-Man as well, so...
Oh, and he's definitely showing up in She-Hulk.
Yeah, totally. It's gotta do.
But yeah, I'm a bit soft on this because I really do think the Netflix Daredevil show is the best Marvel show. And MCU's probably kicking themselves because they didn't fucking make it.
Yeah, like I think I've said before, I've seen exactly 1 episode of this and I thought, okay, that's cool. And then I didn't have Netflix at the time.
Well, you got Disney Plus and it's all on there.
Yeah, it's all on there now.
But yeah, Daredevil's a great show. I hope the MCU don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Captain America: New World Order movie, May 3rd, 2024. Obviously, this is going to be Falcon.
Yeah, the former Falcon, the first Captain America movie with Anthony Mackie at the helm.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what New World Order means. I'm not familiar with a comic book run entitled that, so it might be an original story. I don't know. It might just be a story of how the world gets used to Falcon being Captain America. Who knows?
Which seemed to be the point of the series, but yeah.
Yeah, but in the series, it was mostly about him getting the shield back as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, getting the shield back, feeling that he was up to the task of donning the mantle, and it seems to be that, yeah, someone else being a prick with the shield is the thing that spurs him into going, oh yeah, no, that's not good.
Speaking about someone else being a prick with the shield, Thunderbolts movie is slated for July 26, 2024, and I suspect that John Walker is going to be the leader of the Thunderbolts, and we're going to get a watered down version of them. them.
Yeah, most likely. So John Walker and
Well, this comes out after Daredevil Born Again, so we might get Bullseye coming back.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I know you've not watched the Netflix series, but Bullseye is one of the main antagonists of season 3, and they do it way better than they do in the fucking Daredevil Ben Affleck films. I'll tell you that for free. But one of the stingers
I saw that film. Yeah.
One of the stingers is that Bullseye isn't dead, even though it looked like he might have been. So it's like, ooh.
Yeah, Bullseye didn't.
Also, I don't know about you, but in my mind's eye, Bullseye is like a staple of the Thunderbolts team.
Yeah, I can see it.
It just is. It's going to be slightly weird because again, the Thunderbolts is usually the Avengers team when Norman Osborn takes over New York.
Yeah, or when he becomes the president. Yeah,
I forgot he got that high.
Yeah, he became president.
Oh yeah, the Thunderbolts has had a lot of lineups. It's going to be interesting to see what the lineup is going to be for this particular film. I think John Walker's a shoo-in. Considering it's after Daredevil, we might get Bullseye. Depending on if they want to bring him in or not, they might be able to slot the Punisher in. He's been a Thunderbolt before, but that was a weird time.
Yeah, it is a bit weird as well because, like, the whole point of the Thunderbolts is meant to be reformed criminals from the outside looking in, and from the inside looking out, hardly reformed at all. They're just legitimizing being out of prison.
There was a Thunderbolt run where General Ross, aka Red Hulk, was in charge of the Thunderbolts, and his gimmick wasn't they're reformed villains. It was, they had the fucking leader for fuck's sake, but, it was less villains and more anti-heroes / we will kill the villains.
Sure.
Like, they had Deadpool in that lineup, for fuck's sake. It wasn't exactly hardened criminals like fucking Venom, Goblin, and Penance was never really a villain, but Yeah.
Yeah, Penance was just an edgelord. He was, I'm pretty sure he was meant to be Speedball, and he turned into Penance after he killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, he didn't do that on purpose. But
no.
Although it is what kickstarted the Civil War in the comics, but whatever. Phase 6. We only have 3 movies announced for Phase 6. I'm personally surprised that they bothered announcing anything for Phase 6 at all, but whatever.
Yeah, ditto.
They're clearly going to flesh this out quite a bit more. I don't think these three films are going to come out in the time period that they've announced. I think they're definitely going to get pushed back / spread out. Okay, are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's go.
We got the Fantastic Four movie, November 8th, 2024. It's about goddamn time.
Man, yeah. I never watched the old Fantastic Four movies. I watched the shitty reboot, which was awful. And obviously they're going to need to do something new in this. Is it going to be the same guy from The American Office as Reed Richards?
I don't know. One of the sad things is Kevin Feige, or it might have even been Sam Raimi, I forget. They straight up said in an interview that with this being a multiverse, they could fulfill the fan casting for Reed Richards, which made it sound like it was a one and done, which is a shame because the dude nailed it.
It is a shame. Yeah, he did. It was a lot of fun for the small amount of time that he was there, being a smug little bastard, as Reed Richards normally is.
Yeah, Reed Richards is so far up his own arse. But
wasn't he the one that suggested the Illuminati?
Depends on the comic, it really does.
But yeah, it's definitely in his
wheelhouse of shittery.
Yeah.
But yeah, fan casting the Fantastic Four is always a fun thing to do. I can't be asked today, but
no.
we're doing a podcast. We want to keep somewhat timely, and I think we've already been going for 40 minutes, it feels like. 30 minutes.
Yeah, so it would seem.
And that's just talking about the upcoming MCU films and series and whatnot. But anyway, I think they should definitely stick with him if they've got the option to.
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
I don't know who you'd cast as the others. A lot of people have said, please bring Chris Evans back as the Human Torch, and then have no one mention how he looks like Captain America. Which would be funny for all of 5 minutes. And then totally. It would get really fucking boring. Anyway, next up we've got Avengers, the Kang Dynasty movie, May 2nd, 2025. Very interesting that this isn't slated as an Avengers film, because the Kang shit is usually dealt with by the Fantastic Four.
Usually, yes. But I think the whole point is they're giving Kang a lot of build-up. He's started in Loki, and I think the whole thing is, build up to a crossover movie, and it seems like they have to make the crossover movies Avengers movies, because small crossovers are fun, but they don't make a mega blockbuster.
Rick, how many of the original Avengers exist still? Thor's fucked off to space.
Yeah, Thor's fucked off to space. Basically none.
We got Hawkeye.
Yeah, and he's fucked off to House.
Yeah, he's passed the torch to new Hawkeye.
Yeah, Kate Bishop.
Which is fine. But I think Kate Bishop should definitely. Why is there not a Young Avengers on this list?
Yeah, like
We've got Miss Marvel, we've got Kate Bishop. I assume the mantle of Black Panther's going to move to Shuri or whatever her name is.
Yeah, I think the only reason that it might not is because the actor's being a shitheel about vaccines.
When has that ever stopped him?
Yeah. Well, it slowed them down.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to bear in mind, Benedict Cumberbatch was also a bit of a dick about the mask thing.
Man.
And like, he's still Doctor Strange, you know? It's like, that sort of shit doesn't affect stuff. I think the only reason why Corello, whatever her name is, got shit canned from Mandalorian is because she kept doing it after being told to shut the fuck up. And also, the main star of Mandalorian,
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, one of his relatives is trans, and I don't know which way, so I'm not going to bother with pronouns.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm just saying,
yeah.
like, if the main, and also, allegedly, he tried very hard to explain it to her multiple times, and I say allegedly because that's word of mouth. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's like, come on, if you get told by your boss, stop doing the thing, and you keep doing the thing, what do you fucking expect?
Yeah, and not just doing it, but doing it loudly on Twitter, which is like, it's the number one, since Facebook got disgraced in terms of everyone knows that it's a shit heap, Twitter is now the number one shit heap for getting stuck in your own echo chamber.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, case in point, Rick, the only reason I have Twitter is to promote this damn podcast.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I do appreciate the fact that I've decided to sub us to that Daily Pearl Face Twitter, because that's fun. But yeah, the Kang Dynasty, fuck, I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting, I guess.
It was interesting to see that, like, calling forward a little bit, but we're getting 2 Avengers movies in the same year.
Well, I was gonna say, this is where things get a bit murky. This is where I'm 95% sure we're gonna get a spaced out gap and additional things added, because again, they're calling Phase 6 before Phase 5's even began, which is not a smart thing. But
then again, they did the same thing with Phase 4 when we were just rounding out the end of Phase 2. They announced all of Phase 3 and then most of Phase 4.
Yeah, and how much stuff got added to Phase 4? A fuck ton.
Yeah.
Like,
let's be honest, to be fair, yeah.
I will be very surprised if there is less than a year between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars when this rolls around.
Yeah, ditto. Because there's meant to be like 6 months, which is nothing. And we've shown as fans that we can wait a year. We waited a year between Avengers 3 and 4, like, and that was obviously a 2-parter. But we'll see.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. For Phase 6, you've actually called it bang on 6 months. All 3 films for Phase 6 are spread out 6 months.
Yes.
And, I don't think they're going to stick to that at all. And if they do stick to it, as you said, Avengers is kind of the catch-all caveat for, this is going to be a co-op film between multiple casts at this point. So it very well could be that they both do happen in 6 months, as they've slated. I doubt it, but it might. But what happens is, despite the fact they're both Avengers films, they have entirely different casts.
That could be true, actually.
The roster for the MCU is so large at this point. You know, Avengers it's kind of like the comics, actually. I'll give them credit where credit's due. Everyone and their fucking aunt is an Avenger in the comics.
Yeah.
So much so that when they did the Avengers versus X-Men, it was just like they had to have an entire chapter, as it were, just describing why Wolverine is not helping either side, because fuck them.
Yeah. And yeah, because so many X-Men just are Avengers, so they would have to exit the Avengers to declare their allegiance to the X-Men, all the other way around.
Yeah, most of the people, again, a lot of shit happened in that comic books, including T'Challa getting so fucking pissed off at Storm that he divorced her.
Yep.
Which, rightly so, if you read the comic, she was a dick.
Didn't he also frame it as the King of Wakanda has annulled our marriage?
No, it was better than that. He said the High Priest, because
the High Priest.
And then she was like, "You're the High Priest." It's like, yeah, I'm aware. T'Challa in the comics is everything in Wakanda. He takes up all the important roles because the Black Panther is that big of a fucking deal.
I think with the sole exception of head scientist, which goes to Shuri.
Shuri, I've never seen in the comics.
Fair enough.
So I honestly don't know. You got to bear in mind though, in the comics, Storm is a big part of Wakandan lore, and obviously she hasn't appeared in the MCU for Fox reasons.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised, or rather, I'm kind of hoping that in the new Black Panther film, which I'm still on the fence of whether I want to see or not, if Storm makes her debut, because we're going to get mutants soon.
Sure. We've got mutants already now.
Don't. Oh, we got to talk about it.
Yep.
But yeah, we can go on for a bit longer, I suppose, but that is essentially Phase 5 and Phase 6, what we have to expect. I'll be honest with you, Phase 5 looks pretty much a lock. Like, I don't see them adding anything to that lineup, but Phase 6, they're just...
It's a skeleton.
It's a skeleton. They just wanted to say Fantastic Four is coming. Apparently in 2 years' time. I think that's incredibly soon, but...
Yeah, yeah.
It's not impossible. The amount of fucking teams Disney has nowadays.
I think it's also kind of a bad move to look too far into the future, because the fact that Black Panther and Doctor Strange were coming back was spoiled by the fact that they had sequels planned on the timeline after Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, but the same could be said for Spider-Man. Like, it's one of those... One of the beauties of Spider-Man, for example, is they can say new Spider-Man film, oh, but this time it's Miles Morales.
Yeah.
This time
totally.
It's Ben Reilly?
Yeah, that's the clone, yeah.
Yeah, which is the only clone storyline I will ever accept, because Scarlet Spider's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
But let's not get bogged down in Spider-Man and things that can be. Rick, what are we talking about probably for less time than MCU bullshit today?
Yeah, today we're going to talk about Ms. Marvel, as in her MCU incarnation that was on Disney Plus recently. We were going to do it more close to the time of when it ended, but it was hot as balls, and therefore we waited a week and a bit.
Well, it was a combination of hot as balls, and then you got the COVID.
Yeah, I got COVID at the same time, which was not fun.
Yeah.
I'm still not completely over it, so if I sound wrong, then apologies, but we went over that last episode.
Before we dive into the retro proper, there is one story I want to share, because it's been doing the rounds on Reddit, and I think it's adorable. Apologies, I don't know the actress's name off by heart, but the actress for Kamala Khan...
Iman Vellani.
There we go. I'm not going to remember that, I'm sorry. Behind the scenes on set while they were filming, WandaVision had just come out.
Okay.
And she was watching it on her phone in between takes. And
oh, that's cute.
And the story goes that allegedly Kevin Feige got very annoyed because, and I quote, "it wasn't made for phones." So I found that quite adorable and funny.
But yeah, I'll rip that band-aid off right now. Have you seen the behind-the-scenes special? Okay, so I will condense it into the fact that it was mostly about how Iman Vellani was born to play this role.
Yeah, it's a very similar story to Tom Holland, where they both, whenever they went trick-or-treating or dressed up as a superhero, they dressed up as either Spider-Man or Miss Marvel. And I've been saying this since the goddamn Mandalorian. Let fans, or not let fans, but cast fans and get fans involved in the projects.
Yeah. Obviously, go through the normal casting channels, make sure that they are a decent actor. But yeah, someone with passion for a character is going to give the character more respect than someone who doesn't give a shit and just treats it as a paycheck. But yeah, she saw a lot of similarities between herself and the character as a fan, and there are shots of her on set just taking a moment just to squee at the fact that she's Ms. Marvel right now.
Rick, I don't know.
She's Kamala Khan right now.
Rick, I don't know about you, but it's almost as if representation matters.
I mean, yeah.
You got to bear in mind that when Kamala Khan first debuted on the comic book scene, she was the first Pakistani superhero.
Oh, totally. Yeah. She was definitely the first Pakistani superhero. She might have been the first Muslim superhero.
I think she was. However, I'm not 100% confident on that. Pakistani, yes. Muslim, I'm pretty sure, but I don't want to say for definite.
Thinking on it, yeah, I think a bunch of ancillary Moon Knight characters were probably Muslim because they deal with Egyptian stuff.
That don't count.
And modern day Egyptian people are generally Muslim.
I can't name a single Egyptian superhero. Because you got to bear in mind, Mark Spector, while Egyptian, is Jewish.
Oh yeah, he's Jewish. The girl Al Fuli, I forgot her first name. She's obviously from that area of the world.
I feel like that she was invented by the MCU or came after Kamala.
She was invented by the MCU. Apparently, she's a decomposite character of like other people that appear in the Moon Knight mythos.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they decomposited her and her father into two separate characters.
Khan is Marvel's first Muslim character to headline her own comic book.
Sure.
But
to headline, yeah. To headline, yeah, definitely. But yeah, we're going to start out with episode 1. We start with a recap of everything that's happened in the MCU until now.
Yeah, I'll gotta be honest with you, I don't remember fuck all from episode 1. I remember the ending, because the ending was cool. Here's one of the problems that we encounter with Miss Marvel, and I'm gonna sound like a dickhead, and I apologise, but, you know, it's gotta be said. I'm 30 years old. Rick's even older than that.
Yep.
I don't give a fuck about high school. And
I understand that it's a relatable thing, because everyone's been through high school.
Absolutely. And I know what the counter argument is, because people have said it, oh, that's like Spider-Man's big deal. And I'm like, you're correct. You're absolutely correct. However, when you watch a Spider-Man film, he's in high school for about 10 minutes.
Yeah. They don't spend an entire episode on it.
I haven't got an issue with the fact that Kamala is in high school. That's fine. But the high school segments in the first 2 episodes are boring as fuck. I love the dynamic between her and her friends. That's cool. I even like the dynamic between her and the bully, because she is a very easy character to hate.
Not even that. Like, the bully is self-absorbed. She doesn't put any effort into bullying Kamala.
Which is why I hate it. She's being mean, but she doesn't know she's being mean.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know that's a really childish way of phrasing it, but my brain no good today.
Yeah, she's a popular live streamer and can just crush people underfoot with but a thought without even thinking.
But yeah, one of the few things I do appreciate is they establish in pretty much scene 1 that Kamala Khan is a massive fangirl for Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and that comes back at the end as well. But yeah, she's a massive fangirl for Captain Marvel. She's trying to make a cosplay for Captain Marvel. She enlists Bruno, who is her guy in the chair, as it were, to create the extra vavavoom, as in some like glowing gauntlets.
I will tell you this, as a big old fucking nerd, I did really get excited on the fact that they're gonna do a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
My god, the Comic-Con in this Comic-Con in this series is nothing like any Comic-Con I've ever been to.
Oh, no.
This is not what Comic-Cons are like in England. I can't speak for America, but...
Yeah, over here it's literally just a bunch of stalls where you can buy things, and that's it. You might have a second room where people can go and have a sit down.
Oh, you get if you go to the big MCM one, they got panels.
Oh yeah, they got panels. Like there's like a corner where you've got a schedule for when the panels come on. Sometimes you have a bank of tables where celebrities go and you can pay for an autograph.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. Like, as far as I'm aware, I didn't see a single signing booth.
No. But then again, for that, it would be the actual heroes, and the actual heroes wouldn't be just sat there doing it, really.
Oh, I don't know. I reckon you could get Thor in.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
If Thor had nothing on, he'd fucking turn up and be like, "Where is your mead?"
Yeah, pay him in beer.
Like,
oh yes, I remember shawarma last time I was in this area.
Yeah, that was a pretty decent impression.
This drink, I like it. Another!
I think Discord might be helping it with its inbuilt compression, so it might not sound as good on the episode, but...
Yeah.
Pretty decent. I can't remember if they dip into it a lot in the first episode, but I will say this, while I wasn't a fan of Miss Marvel in the whole, something I do appreciate in any sense of media is giving me a glimpse into a world that's not my own.
Yes,
and in this
absolutely.
case, it is, Muslim traditions, because I don't know fuck all. I know a bit, because I used to have a Muslim co-worker, and I think I said this on the podcast before. We used to talk a lot about certain ideology. With me, it was evolution. With him, it was I don't believe that. And I'm like, okay, can you elaborate?
Yeah.
And then never really got much, but it was a fun discussion. We weren't malicious about it. It was just shooting shit while we were not even drinking. On our lunch break, I was drinking water, not booze.
Yeah. Well, you both had Capri Suns, yeah.
And then there was days when it was Ramadan, and he'd take his break super fucking late, and he had a mountain of food ready for him.
Yeah.
It was some of the funniest shit. I was like...
Yeah, I remember when they'd used to... the Muslim members of our class at school, they used to get excused at the end of the day, like before the day ended, and they'd be, like, drawing multiple packets of crisps from multiple different pockets while they were already, like, half out the door.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun, but also, like, yeah, you need something to keep you going at that point. The real big thing is fluids.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to have any amount of water pass your lips.
Yeah, that fucking blew my mind when he told me that. I was like, okay, the food, I wouldn't be happy about it, but I think I could do it. The no drinking at all, fuck that.
No, not on a working day, and especially not if you're in a high concentration role. battle, like being a surgeon, you need your concentration, you need your fluids. If you're dehydrated, your concentration slips, and that could be someone's life.
But also, fuck all that noise, right? Think of Muslim countries. They are hot.
Yes, they are. However, the length of their day is constant because they're closer to the equator. Over here, you can have like an 18-hour day if it's the wrong time of the year. And unlike the Jews who reset their calendar to keep certain things in the same time of the year, the Islamic calendar does not reset. So the lunar calendar lets Ramadan move all around through the year, and it's a real problem in the UK when it's summertime.
Yeah, because you imagine if people were fasting during that fucking 2 days of 40 degrees heat.
Yeah.
Ooh, they'd have been fucking... Like, there was deaths anyway with people who weren't restricting themselves, but fuck.
Yeah. They have caveats for if you're ill or if there's, like, a case of... like, in cases of drought and stuff like that. But most of them decide, okay, I have decided that I am not ill and I'm just doing it anyway in solidarity of everyone else that's doing it.
I guess. I don't know. I always find it funny, I guess, when you've got religious tenets, but here's a caveat for them.
Yeah. One of the caveats is if you're on the blob, you can't do it.
When you're on the blob is the most disgusting way you could phrase that. Bear in mind, I've got people listening who are not English.
Oh, yeah. When you've got a period on, as Stephen Fry puts it.
It is one of the most disgusting ways you could phrase it, and that's the one you went for, you northern fuck.
On the blob.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, fucking hell.
But yeah, episode 1 is basically, here is Kamala, here are her parents. Her parents are overbearing. Here is Bruno, he is cute. And,
I do want to give a shout out to Kamala's dad.
Yeah, Kamala's dad goes through, he jumps through the hoops to try and be a good dad.
Okay, here's the one thing I do remember from episode 1, is at the end, they do eventually agree to let her go to the Avenger Con, right?
Yes.
However, they do it in the shittiest way possible. Not on the dad's part, but potentially on the mother's. I'm not really sure. Depends how you look at it. But the dad's like, I'll go with you and chaperone. I'm dressed like the Incredible Hulk, and you can dress like Mini Hulk. And it's like, fuck me, do you two know nothing about your daughter?
Yeah.
Like,
it's one of those things, like, him going as the Hulk as a chaperone is a really fun idea, and the perfect thing to just have a bonding moment over.
Yeah.
If only they would just accept that she wants to go in the costume that she spent months making.
Yeah, and they didn't even give her a chance to show the costume, because I believe the mother's fear was, oh, I've seen what those superheroes wear, they're so scantily clad and this and that, and it's like, okay, but have you seen Kamala's costume? Like, fuck, have you seen Captain Marvel's original costume anyway in the MCU? It's not revealing at all. Yeah,
the like even the Ms. Marvel costume is basically just a black and yellow version of what Kamala ends up using.
I mean, the end thing that she gets gifted by her mother is a pretty good adaptation of the suit.
Oh yeah, it's a big pain in the arse that she doesn't get her own real suit until right at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, before that, she's using a combination of her Ms. Marvel, her Captain Marvel costume that she's already made, and a couple of extra things that she just adds to it, like the bangle, the scarf, and all that.
Can we talk about that fucking bangle?
Yeah, it's weird. I think they're trying to say that, there is another one out there somewhere, but they never go into it.
But even weirder is they seem to imply that the bangle is what kickstarts her powers, which is completely shat on by episode 6, because the stinger of episode 6 is it's got nothing to do with the bangle. It's like, what?
It's a weird one where I think the idea is the bangle kickstarts a combination of things, is what it seems to be. Like a combination of the DNA, which ties her to the newer dimension, and being a mutant, which lets her actually control it. I can see it. It's weird, but I can see it.
Alright, but in the comics, right,
Yeah, she's an Inhuman in the comics. Isn't the Terrigen Mist that gives her the powers?
Yeah, exactly. Cosmic bullshit.
Yeah.
Is what I pretty much dub everything that comes from space. But yeah, she's got Inhuman particles. And the only reason I can see that they've changed that is because they tried to do an Inhuman show and it bombed. And they're like, fuck it, Inhumans don't exist. Except for in that. Yeah. Except for in the alternate universe where Black Bolt's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So Inhumans are basically the Marvel's answer to, we don't have the rights to mutants anymore, so let's make everything that was going to be a mutant into an Inhuman instead.
Well, that's not true. Inhumans have existed since 1965.
Have they? Okay.
They're a comic book thing.
Fair enough.
The Inhumans is Black Bolt and that entire Raw family of bullshit, and they're kind of dicks, but
okay.
But yeah, anyway, the only reason I bring up Black Bolt is because, again, he was in the Doctor Strange film, and I got mad props for that actor being able to do so much without talking.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I digress a little bit. It's just an odd change to make. The mutant thing I'm really not gelling with.
Yeah, but we'll see. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with it, because we don't have an established X-Men in the current continuity. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Like, reality could shatter.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just hard to pinpoint, man. It's hard to pinpoint. I will say another thing, seeing as we're on the topic already. I don't like the fact that they've just gifted her random new powers.
I don't mind it. I like that it's hard like holograms rather than growing her body, because that's just what Mr. Fantastic does.
I guess, but it's Kamala Khan's thing. She's got weird stretch powers.
Yeah. Weird stretch powers where she can actually physically grow rather than just stretch.
But here's the thing, the justification is even more annoying, because I can't remember who it was. I think it was a producer said, oh, her powers are very comic booky and don't translate well to screen. And it's like, but you're doing a Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
If they fucking change Reed Richards' powers, they're gonna have a fucking nightmare on their hand from the Turbo Nerds.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, even though he can stretch, he tends not to use it as well in combat as anyone else with any kinds of powers.
That's because Reed Richards isn't a freak.
Yeah, he's a brain.
Okay, I just want to say the easiest parallel to draw is Plastic Man in DC.
Yeah.
Plastic Man is a fucking freak, which means he uses his powers all the time.
Mm-hmm. And if you're against Plastic Man, he is a threat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's very creative with how to use his freaky deaky powers.
Although there is a comic book panel going around of Plastic Man during one of the Superman is Evil reigns of he accused him of being evil, basically, in not so many words, and Wonder Woman jumped to Superman's defense saying, Superman's not evil, what are you talking about? And Plastic Man just points to Superman going, he's sitting on a throne! He is so evil! What the fuck? Am I the only one who sees this? And you got Batman lurking in the shadows going, I see it.
But yeah, the end of episode 1 is did they actually go to the
yeah, they go to the Avenger Con, and Kamala Khan shows off her powers.
Yeah, she shows off her powers, she unlocks them, she saves Zoe from a falling head, which Kamala also caused.
Yeah.
And then episode 2 is dealing with the fallout from that Zoe has skyrocketed to massive fame and has given Kamala the name of Nightlight.
Yeah, shit name.
And I would say the B plot, but it's mainly the plot of Nakia, Kamala's friend, running for council member of the mosque. And yeah, this wasn't a very fun episode.
No, it wasn't. We did meet love interest number 2.
Oh yeah, Kamran.
Yeah, who also gets Miss Marvel powers by the end of the series, which I don't know if that happens in the comics, but I'm like, okay, whatever.
Apparently Kamran is just a straight up villain in the comics.
That makes sense.
I don't know if he's got the same power set, but yeah, he's basically her direct opposite rival villain.
Yeah, Red Skull.
Yeah.
The episode ends with the weird fucking power containment agency people showing up and Kamran helping her get out of Dodge.
Yeah, the damage control agents. Yeah, Kamran gets her out with his mum, is shown at the end of that episode.
Yeah, which is another ancient being. Oh, I think we do get some discussion in either this episode or the next episode, which was a nice touch to... Are they called the Immortals?
I've
forgotten their fucking name.
Immortals.
Oh, you know who I'm on about, don't you?
Yeah, it's something like the Invaders or something, but yeah, they're...
No, the MCU film that came after Shang-Chi.
Oh, yeah, the Eternals.
Eternals, there we go. I did like the nod to that, where you got some of the old ladies talking about their favourite actors, and they bring up the Indian fella who's been in Bollywood for centuries.
Yeah.
They were arguing over which version they liked more, the dad or the new one. I've forgotten his name. It's Kepkri or Kufki or something. It starts with a K.
Yeah, I know who you mean, but I've also forgotten the name that starts with K.
Yeah.
But yeah, episode 3 is the one that gave us hope that it was going to be good.
Episode 3 was my favourite.
Yeah, this is the one where it's meant to be Kamala's brother's birthday.
No, wedding.
Not birthday, wedding. Fucking birthday. I don't know. Like, I knew that it was a wedding and I still said birthday. I don't know why. And Kamala ruins it. Or rather, she doesn't, but everything around the wedding means it so that it was always going to be ruined by the fact that Kamran is there and damage control appear. Kamala has a conversation with the outsiders about how they want to go home, and she's like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll help you, but I've literally got a wedding to go to right now, so can it wait till tomorrow?"
No, that's not what happens. She says she will think about helping them, and then when she gives even a hint that she's going to say no because it's dangerous, because what's his name, Ben, Bruno,
Bruno, yeah,
Brian, but yeah,
Brian, yeah.
But Bruno reveals that if she does this, it might be a risk/danger to herself, so they got to be slow and careful. And the outsiders are like, "We're not waiting another goddamn day. We're going to make her do this now." And it's kind of what gives Kamran his firm face turn for a time being, because Kamran is like, "Well, that's not cool."
Yeah,
like she said she'll do it. It's just going to take time.
Kamran has waited his entire life and lived his entire life on Earth. He's got the best kind of perspective of patience, whereas the others do not. They have been waiting much longer, but they're also immortal, so fuck them.
For fuck's sake, I just remembered another fucking plot point that kind of dithered out. The fucking, by the way, you're a djinn.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that about? Because, again, because of that mutant shit at the end, all of this becomes kind of irrelevant.
Kind of, but it is also kind of still true.
But it's like, again, it's implied early on the reason she's got her powers is because of this djinn and bracelet bullshit, and it's just like at the end, no, LOL.
Okay, so I think the idea is that she's a mutant, so she has some powers. The fact that she's got the bloodline to some what used to be called Jinn is why she's got those powers.
But that makes no sense, because the mutation thing is meant to be what gives you powers if you're a mutant.
Yeah, and they tend to be based on your personality to a degree, but also sometimes they just completely shape your destiny, like Rogue.
I've got a very sneaking suspicion we're not going to get an MCU version of Jubilee, because fucking Kamala Khan is now a mutant, and also some of her powers are very Jubilee-esque.
Yeah, you do the light show, cool. Because Jubilee is basically just, okay, fireworks, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I will say this episode was very fun pretty much from start to finish, especially the wedding shit, because I don't know about you, I like seeing big parties on screen.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting to see a big party from a different...
from a different culture, yeah.
I was going to say tradition, and I knew it was the wrong word.
Yeah. And it's also, because the wife is also from a different culture. She's not used to she's not used to being fussed over, and she likes it.
Who doesn't?
Because in that culture, you're not allowed to do anything on your wedding day.
Fair enough.
So basically, if she needs food, she needs to be hand-fed it.
Damn. But yeah, I will just say, because, again, this is coming from the wrestling background of, it's the old, it's not Indian, it's Pakistani, but, the whole show, the whole dancing, the music, everything's awesome. It reminds me of wrestling. It's a few years ago now. There was a wrestler called, bollocks, I've forgotten the fella's name. The modern day Maharaja was his nickname.
Okay.
He was Indian, except that's bullshit. He's Canadian, but whatever. He was pretending to be Indian because they just made an India deal. And again, I know India's not Pakistan. Please don't jump down my throat. I'm English. I know what we did. But he won the world heavyweight title, and to celebrate, he came down. They were doing the whole fucking Bollywood shit coming down. They were throwing the fucking coloured spices. They had the banners, the streamers, the dancers, the dressed up really like royalty, basically. And the crowd were fucking loving it. They were into it. Like, yeah, celebration, pop time, yeah, fuck. And then they ruined it in 2 seconds by having Jinder Mahal, that's his name. They had him come out and go, "You Americans are so ungrateful. You spit on my culture and this." And 2 seconds ago, the crowd were hype.
Yeah.
And because this is the MCU, we didn't get that fucking rug pulled out. It's just like, yeah, no, let's celebrate this shit.
Oh, yeah, totally. But yeah, like we say, this was probably our favourite episode, for both of us as well. And then it goes downhill again.
Yeah, you can really see the formula for this 6-episode shit starting a show, because the last series we had was Moon Knight, and, wouldn't you know it, episode 4, we're going to another country. Yeah,
so they go to Pakistan, specifically to Karachi, which is where the grandma lives. The grandma is the one that sent the bracelet to the house that Muniba wanted to throw away, but Kamala ended up picking out. She is still a believer in magic and her mother's stuff, her mother being magic, traumatic because the last time she saw her mother was the day that her mother died, but she doesn't know that. So we get to see a bit of the other part of the family, but also the Red Daggers.
Yeah, the Red Daggers get introduced and dismantled in the same episode.
Yep. We see the main Red Dagger, which is, it's not Kamran, is it Kareem, I believe?
I didn't bother remembering names because as soon as I saw them, I went, you guys are disposable.
Yeah, Kareem is the one that lives, and
as soon as I saw the old Waleed, by the way, is the name of my old co-worker. So I was a bit like, oh, I know that name. But yeah, when Waleed showed up, I went, this motherfucker's dying.
Yep.
This guy's got all the death flags.
Yeah, he doesn't last the episode. He's a cool and nice guy, and he shows some exposition on the Noah dimension, and like we get told about the whole Noah dimension properly here as a threat that will actually potentially like destroy the world as it just takes over. Whereas last episode we got told about the Noah dimension as a paradise that the other ones want to go back to.
Yeah, the multiverse thing puts another wench into this sort of thing where like, can you not just go to another dimension where this has already happened?
Yeah.
Like, no, we don't have the Infinity Gauntlet anymore. And it's like, yeah, Kang don't fucking need it.
Yep.
That's another thing as well. The problem is we're in the multiverse phase of the MCU, and they haven't clearly defined how you can traverse dimensions. We have America. Is her name America?
Chavez, yeah.
Yeah,
America Chavez.
Chavez. She's got the power to jump between things. We've also got Doctor Strange, who's a sorcerer who can also go through dimensions, which assumedly means all sorcerers can do that if they're strong enough. And then we've got Kang, who, well, to be fair, he's kind of a sorcerer, so I guess that's that. But he also has the technology of the TVA, and it's like, there's so many ways you can do it, but they're not all clearly defined. And because it's not a comic book and it's the MCU, it's got to be a bit loosey-goosey with the rules.
Yeah. They've got to at least, well, like you say, both loosey-goosey, and they've got to condense most explanations because it's got to fit in a short-form thing and not be like a 7-year comic book series. But yeah, they finish doing what they're doing in Pakistan in the one episode pretty much. And the thing that happens at the end of the episode is a cliffhanger for the next episode of stuff back in time.
I was so... didn't like this episode at all.
Yeah, it was so fucking weird. Kamala gets sent back to the 60s. Sorry, is it the 40s or the 60s?
It would be earlier in the 60s, bud.
Yeah, I think it was 1948, I think.
Yeah, possibly so. Oh, by the way, as a bit of a tangent, a lot of people can probably claim this because, well, considering the nature of the time, but my granddad was serving in India at the time that this shit was going on.
Okay.
So, just a bit of a tangent. That being said, being British, we were definitely the baddies, but...
Oh, yeah. Are we the baddies? Yes, we were.
Yeah. Like, how do we solve this problem? I know, enforce apartheid, but apartheid in which we make a new country.
Yeah, let's take all of the people of one faith and put them over there. And that kept on being an issue until modern day.
Yeah, this will solve this problem, and there certainly won't be border disputes even now.
Like,
fucking hell.
I used to work for someone who, if she wants to go home now, she goes to Pakistan. But when she left, it was India.
Well, you told this to another Indian fellow we met, and when you said that, he laughed and went, that bitch ain't Indian.
Yeah. She claims that she's Indian, but yeah, she's British now.
Oh, it depends, doesn't it? Like, what essentially if you want to know the actual deciding factor of whether or not you should go to Pakistan or India, what is your faith?
Oh yeah.
Because that's how it got split up.
Oh yeah, exactly. It was it's a case of if she wanted to go to the house that she left, essentially.
Right,
it's now in Pakistan.
Yeah,
is what I mean.
Yeah. I will give a bit of credit to the show though, because it's one of those historical things where unless you're one, British and give a fuck about your history, which I kind of do, so I know a fair amount of the fucked up shit we've done during our reign. Or if you're, Indian or Pakistani, you probably know that this shit went down.
Yeah.
And Kamala Khan's story, or rather Kamala Khan's ancestors' story, is not exactly an uncommon one of losing family members during this time where you had to get out of Dodge or get brutally fucked up.
Yeah, they even bring it up with a chilling line of every family has a partition story.
It's not fun.
But yeah, the majority of the episode is showing the time that gets referenced beforehand of when Sana was going to her father to get on the train to get out of Dodge. But we also get a little callback to them falling in love, the mother and Sana's mother and father. The mother being a djinn, and the father being a human who grows roses. And,
you got to bear in mind as well, this fucking Kamran's mum has always been a cold-hearted bitch because...
Oh, yeah.
Like, she didn't want to wait at all. She was like, okay, you've been my friend for ages and I finally found you. Let's go home. I don't want to go home. Cool. Stabby, stabby.
Yeah, immediately stabbed in the back, yeah.
It didn't take any time. She didn't think about it or anything. It's fucked.
No. Which does kind of imply that she's been thinking about it for a long time and has already decided on evil. Which means that I think it's the end of this episode, isn't it, when they get back to the normal world and she decides to have a last minute face turn of because the veil does open and she decides, one of my other guys has tried to go through it and immediately turned to coal. I can do the same thing, but if I want to close it, then I can, and then I send all of my powers to Kamran.
Yeah.
So she does. Oh yeah. Also, one thing we glossed over is that Kamran has been disowned at this point.
Yeah, which is just like, cool. Fuck you, family.
Yeah, and that's only because he hesitated. She basically said, yeah, because you weren't 100% with us, that means you're against us, and therefore we've disowned you. Bye.
Yeah, we did gloss over that, but at the same time, the show kind of glossed over that.
Yeah.
Like, it happened so quickly when Kamala was in Pakistan. Like, I don't know, man. This series had some weird pacing things. Like, this episode in particular, it slowed everything down, and it was mostly flashback. And looking back, I can't pinpoint a place where you would put this flashback where it wouldn't make the pace of the story feel weird.
Yeah, it's odd, but it does make it canon that there was always this time loop, and it was always destined to happen because it was Kamala that made the trail of stars that led Sana to her father.
Yeah, it kind of wasn't though, because Sana made the trail of stars. It's just Kamala lent the power.
Sure.
Because Kamala even says it when she's knocked down. She's like, "Oh, sorry, Nani, I can't make stars. I can only do circles."
And then when they evaporate, you just get the stars.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then this ends, and then we got the final episode, which is called No Normal.
I don't... it ended on such a wet fart.
Yeah. They are helping Kamran escape from damage control while he is trying to deal with having powers and being in a state of mental turmoil because he's still kind of not over the fact that he's been disowned and also kind of hasn't accepted it at all. He's hiding out with Bruno, who he genuinely thought his name was Brian.
I'll be honest with you, the entire time this joke was going on, I not for one moment didn't think that Kamran was doing it maliciously.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, obviously, Bruno felt that way, but Bruno's got some issues in that he clearly wants to fuck Kamala. But
yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Like, Bruno's number one reason for not wanting to go to his dream school of Caltech in California, which is literally the country away, is that he still wants to bum uglies with Kamala.
Which, by the way, like you can phrase it however you want, but teenagers are going to be fucking teenagers. That's what they're. Oh yeah, that's literally what's going on.
Yeah. And yeah, he can be as intellectual as he likes, but, still horny. It helps that the family likes Bruno more than they like Kamala. But yeah. And yeah, the damage control guys go beyond their means after being told specifically not to because they're at a school, which is the only place that's going to be empty on a Sunday.
Well, to be fair, it's one particular agent that goes fucky, because the other one that we saw early in the series is screaming at her on the phone of, "You're shooting kids in a school. What the fuck do you think you're doing?"
Not only that, but people are now live streaming it.
Also, by the way, shout out to the fucking Muslim crew in the... Oh, fuck, what's the name of their temple? What they call it?
Oh, in the mosque.
Yeah, in the mosque, going, this isn't the first... It was a funny joke, but also kind of fucking depressing, of like, this isn't the first time a government agency has come probing around, but also shout out to them fucking doing their all to go, nah, fuck you, we're not giving up Kamala.
Yeah, totally.
Like, even the bully doesn't give up Kamala. All the way in episode 2, when they first find out who she is, they probe the bully girl, and the bully's like, I'm not saying anything. She does slip up, but it's not malicious or intent on, dobbing her in.
I think the bully girl actually doesn't know back then. It's but by now she definitely does.
No, but the bully girl does know, race and stuff, but she tries her best to keep quiet about it.
Yeah. But yeah, the bully girl is now Zoe. She's now on Team Face, having either sussed out or been let know of the secret, and she puts her powers of TikTok to good use.
I think she's technically streaming via Facebook, but
oh yeah, well she's or YouTube or whatever, but she puts those powers to good use and organizes a flash mob, and that's what gets other people live streaming the horrible war crimes that the damage control people are committing against children.
Yeah, literally, all right, teenagers are on the verge of adulthood, but I think as far as legality is concerned, they're kids.
Yeah, and yeah, they're by the end of it, damage control needs damage control.
Yeah, that woman's getting fucking fired.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I don't know if I think they name dropped it in the show, but man, this fucking Home Alone shit.
Yeah, it was odd.
Yeah. I will say one thing. Kamala fucked up in this episode.
What would you say as that then?
Well, Kamran was asking about his mother, and Kamala was doing her best to not say, "Oh, she's gone," and then eventually she did say she was gone, but then left out the critical details that she had nothing to do with it. Meaning Kamran fucking stormed off and was like pissed off with her because he's like, "You killed my mum." It's like, well, no, wait 5 minutes. Let me explain. Eventually she did explain, but in the most tense scenario ever. Like, yeah, you can hand wave it. She's a teenager and isn't gonna think immediately the best way to explain something, but it's like, fuck, a lot of this could have been avoided.
Yeah, like, all she had to do was say, she gave her life to save everyone and made me promise to take care of you. Like, that'd be exactly the kind of thing that, yeah, he'd have to process it, but at least he'd have the information rather than having to jump to conclusions from great height.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It made Kamala look like an idiot.
Yeah, but, as finales go, it existed.
Okay, but, like, it might have happened this way in the comics. I don't know. I don't read every comic that comes out. It's impossible. But the corniest of corny fucking ways that this could have ended, or rather near the end, where I have Captain Marvel's name and you didn't tell me.
Yeah, that was cute.
No, it wasn't. It was so corny the way the fucking dad went, "Our little Miss Marvel," and it's just like roll credits. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, because here's the thing: she doesn't even have a hero name until now.
Nightlight.
Yeah, she's been called Nightlight and she hates it.
But, that's also really shit as a secret identity. Oh, by the way, her name literally means Marvel in a different language.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, I thought it was corny, the revelation. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, it was corny. I thought it was cute.
You can think it's both. I didn't think it was cute enough to outweigh the corniness.
Yeah, the two are not mutually exclusive.
Also, no offense to the writing team or nothing, but they very much displayed that the Khan family are very much traditional and trying to keep their culture imbued in their children. So why the fuck would this have not come up before now?
Partially because they bring it up earlier that Kamala isn't actually a traditional Muslim name, and they were trying to kind of sweep that under the rug because the rest of the Muslims know this, but Kamala doesn't.
Yeah, but I don't know, Rick. I mean, Rick's a bit of a common name, no offense, but did your parents never sit you down and tell you why you were called Rick at some point?
No, but they did. They have told me since then that another grandparent said, "Oh, it's really nice of you to name him after my dad," and it turns out that was an entire fucking coincidence.
At least you got named after something personal. I got named after a fucking cricket player.
I thought you were named after the county.
Why would you think that?
Because it's the name of the county.
Alright, but my brother's named Declan. What the fuck logic you got for that one?
Ant and.
What?
Well, Ant and Dec.
Oh, yeah, because they were around when we were born in 1992.
I mean, yeah, they were.
Oh, they didn't have their own show. They were like two little fucking Geordie kids on that shitty Geordie show. Nah.
PJ and Dunton.
Whatever. Nah, he was named after a fucking jockey.
Okay.
Originally, here's a fun one, because we live in a place near London, folks, and my dad was a proper cockney.
Yeah.
Cause when he found out he was having twins, they were going to call me and my brother Ronnie and Reggie.
Okay.
And I believe the story my mother tells is that the reason why they didn't call us that in the end was so we wouldn't have to live up to the expectation. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? You think that because we're called Ronnie and Reggie, we're automatically going to become gangsters? What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, Declan and Devon instead.
The B-side of that is you don't end up having to live up to be the two Ronnies either, because the one that's not Ronnie has to be the other Ronnie, I guess.
But that doesn't work. It doesn't work if only one of you is called Ronnie.
Yeah.
Technically, it would have been Ronald and Reginald, and you short it to Ron and Reg.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, anyway.
But yeah, the episode ends with, obviously, as you said, the talk with the dad, and also another chat with Bruno before he fucks off of, oh yeah, you're a mutant, and it plays the old 90s X-Men theme as a electric boogaloo version.
I have never had such a visceral reaction to something in a show and then immediately do a U-turn. Because what happened was, is I heard the 90s fucking X-Men theme, and I went, yes! And then it took about 2 seconds to go, wait, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, this is cool. Why you?
Because
it is a bit weird. It's so weird that they just muscled it in on Kamala, but oh well.
They want to wipe out the Inhuman aspect, and they're taking away the cosmic gas entity that gives her powers. Fine, whatever, but I don't want Miss Marvel in the X-Men. I want Miss Marvel in the Young Avengers.
Yeah, like, it's so weird that we don't have a Young Avengers at all.
It seemed like they were gearing up to it, with Kate Bishop kickstarting things, and then we had Little Widow, and then we finally got Miss Marvel. That's a solid fucking core group of 3 to kickstart Young Avengers. Like, you could throw a ton of stuff in.
I think Little Widow's going to be on Thunderbolts.
Maybe, if she's more willing to kill, that would make a bit of sense.
Yeah, because she's been schmoozed by Contessa Valentina or whatever her name is.
I guess. Maybe they're gearing up to have I suppose she's a bit on the old side to be a Young Avenger.
Yeah.
I do like the fuck fight energy she had with Kate Bishop, though.
Oh, yeah.
That was some good shit.
Which is probably why they're going to be on separate teams. Like, they're friendly, but they're going to punch the shit out of each other.
Well, it makes sense. How many times did they have fucking Clint and Widow fight each other?
All.
Like, they did it in Avengers 1, they did it in Avengers 2. Avengers 3, they were kind of on the same side. Avengers 3, Hawkeye wasn't round.
Yeah, and then in Endgame, obviously, they fought to the death.
Yeah. But anyway, digression aside, the post-credit scene was confusing. I guess they have some kind of connection or something. I don't know why they swapped places.
No, neither do I, and I don't think neither do they.
They needed to tease the Marvels, which, by the way, if you Google the Marvels in comic book terms, is what they call the greatest hits collection of comic books. So I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. All I know is it's going to involve Kamala, it's going to involve Captain, and it's going to involve Rambo.
Yep. So we'll see what happens with that, but we got like a year to wait at least. So June 28th, 2023, I believe, is a slated date. Yeah, so it's almost exactly a year. Like, we've got, I think, 10 months to go now, nearly.
11.
Oh, sorry, 11 months at time of recording, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with that. Here's one of the downsides of this. Actually, no, it's going to be my weakest link, so I'll hold that to my chest. Well,
speaking of, I think it's time to get into our wind down. So, from all of this, do you have a favourite moment?
Yeah, the wedding dance scene, hands down.
Yeah. It was a very nice celebration of other cultures, as we said when we brought it up, and yeah, it was fun to see and nice to have acknowledged, you know?
Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed every second of that. It's a shame it got ruined by the Outsiders, or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about you? What was your favourite moment?
My favourite moment was a really small part in the last episode of when Bruno and Kamran got their disguises, which was just a pair of baseball caps that said haram and halal.
Oh, that was such a dumb joke.
It is, but it was so funny.
For those of you who are unaware on Muslim culture, I don't know if they delved into it or not, but halal means you can have it under Islamic law. Haram is basically everything you're forbidden from doing or having.
Yeah, halal in terms of food is basically the Muslim version of kosher.
Yes.
But even then, kosher is also it's got the same connotations of it's things that are okay to have under scripture. And haram is non-kosher.
So one of the jokes is because if you go by strict Muslim code, you Kamala and Bruno can't do anything with each other.
No.
In fact, if you go to the super strict extremist end, which is an unfair thing to do and you shouldn't use as a candlestick, you're not allowed to interact with anyone who's haram at all in strict. If you go by strict stricture, but most Muslims aren't insane. So
yeah. Most of them want to make money.
okay, that's a bit...
So they will interact with the rest of the universe by, wanting to be part of the world.
Okay, it's a bit of a crude and somewhat evil way of phrasing it. I get your point, but
yeah, you can't be part of a community without interacting with people that are in that community,
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, that's why it gets relaxed in modern day.
I don't know about Rick, but I'm an atheist, and I believe that everyone's religious doctrines should be their own, and as long as that's the case, that's fine. But literally, in the example I was using, it's like, no, you're not my religion, so you're not allowed to interact with me at all. And it's like, that's fucking crazy talk.
Yeah, that's daft.
Anyway, sorry about that, bummer.
Yep.
Speaking of bummers,
but yeah. So we can't always talk about the best stuff. Sometimes we have to talk about the not so good stuff. Do you have a weakest link?
My favourite aspect of the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel character is she is a total fangirl.
Yeah.
In the show, she is a fangirl of Captain Marvel and only Captain Marvel and no one else. No other superhero is on her radar.
She does have a little video on Is Thor Secretly a Gamer on her Sloth Baby Productions YouTube channel.
Oh, cool. 2 seconds in a throwaway gag.
Yeah, but okay, as viewers we know that this is true, but it's kind of cool to see that, she's going into things that are not just Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I want to see her geeking out around other superheroes. This is her series, so they don't want any other superhero to overshadow her. However, one of the core features of the character that I absolutely love is whenever she's around another superhero, no matter how small, she geeks out.
Yeah. She's basically the MCU version of Deku in that, how he's like a massive fan of every hero, and he's got encyclopedic knowledge of everyone's Koseis.
Yeah, pretty much. And again, we only see her obsess over Captain Marvel. It's all well and good saying, oh, there's this 2 seconds where we see on screen she's talking about Thor in a random throwaway YouTube video, and it's like, that's not enough. That's a scrap. I wouldn't even call it a scrap. So much so it flew under my radar. I've forgotten about that already.
Yep.
The character is obsessed with Captain Marvel. Every other superhero is lame and not worth her attention, was the vibe I got.
Yeah, so it would seem.
But anyhow, what's your weakest link, bud?
My weakest link is with the villains being completely intractable and, other than Kamran, completely unlikable in any way. Even after she has her face turn, she's still completely unlikable, and you need some spark in a villain team or single villain or whatever that lets you sympathize with them at least in some way, and we didn't get that at all in this.
It's also there's such generic nothingness.
And they were also absent from the final episode because they just dealt with themselves.
Oh, because the final episode was, the villain is now this fucking defense group, which I'll go be honest with you, I don't like as a core concept, but I get the logic of teenagers shouldn't have superpowers.
Yeah, okay, so I get the idea of that, but also they're basically calling back to the Sentinels and trying to arrest, contain, and delete mutants.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I said I don't agree with it, but I get where they're coming from. I understand where the ideology has been birthed from. It's fucked up, but at least there's a spark of logic behind it. It's fucked up barbarian logic, but logic nonetheless.
Yeah. So yeah, my weakest link is going to be the weak villains. But we can get onto our final of Do You Have an MVP?
Kamala's dad.
Yeah, fair enough. He was such a rock throughout the entire thing. He took being rejected as the Hulk very well, about as well as you can expect. He was dejected.
And he noted that you're not going to AvengerCon because he wasn't going to be there to chaperone. But, he wasn't mean, he wasn't angry, he didn't shout.
And he wasn't vindictive is the big thing.
Yeah, because literally the next time we see him, he's back to being happy dad again.
Yeah. And he has a very good relationship with Bruno, which is really cute.
I did like when he went to the corner shop where Bruno was working, and he's like, "Oh, what are you working on?" "Oh, gin. I know stuff about this. What do you want to know?"
Yeah, that was neat as well. He was instrumental to some of the information that would have otherwise just gone under the radar, because it's difficult for, I'm just going to come out and say it, a white person to know things of other cultures without going on too far of a wiki dive, and it's going to be very shitty cinema to show someone going on Wikipedia for 40 minutes.
Oh god, yeah. But yeah, also by the same logic, I've already lost the trail of my thoughts. So, here we go. One thing as well is he's so innocent that he's laughably easy to manipulate.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like when what's her name, Nokia?
Nakia,
Nakia, my apologies. When she's campaigning to be the new, I forget the official title, but basically big.
Yeah, on the council, yeah.
She goes to him first and is like, so easily plays to his emotions when it comes to his daughter, therefore winning his vote. But yeah, anyway, how about you, buddy? What's your favorite? Who is your MVP?
My MVP is Iman Vellani. She was pretty much the perfect Kamala Khan. I can't think of anyone who would have been better, and a minor honourable mention to whoever cast her.
I mean, you got to give a shout out to the MCU casting in general, really, because they rarely do a bad job.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, I can't think of a bad cast so far.
And credit as well in that while they do get big names of certain characters, like Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man, although that being said, when he first got cast, he was very much, his stock was low.
Oh, he was down and out.
Yeah.
He was down and out back then.
But, it's something I want the MCU to continue doing and not get so up themselves where they could probably get any actor because they can pay with Disney backing them. But when the MCU first started, like, Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston were practically unknowns.
Yeah, totally.
And they fucking knocked it out of the park as Thor and Loki.
Yes.
You can point to other people, like, obviously you can't point to Gwyneth Paltrow or Scarlett Johansson, but, a lot of these actors that are small, minor actors at best, boom, MCU, bang, they knocked it out of the park. They did great. Like, I didn't even know about Chadwick Boseman before he was cast as Black Panther, and I didn't even watch Black Panther.
It was actually a pretty good film.
I'm sure it was, but again, it's one of those where it's been too far that I'm not going back. Like, I missed Ant-Man and Thor 3 and Ant-Man 2 as well. I couldn't be bothered. I got told that Black Panther was actually not that great of a film.
It was all right. It was very definitely a thing that they had to release before the next Avengers, which it tends to be a thing. Before an Avengers film, they just have a bunch of films that are, this character is going to be in the next Avengers film. Have a movie about it. Go.
Well, here's one of the beautiful things about being a fan of the comics. While, yes, the MCU versions usually differ to a certain degree to their comic book counterparts, because they have to. There's so much you can draw from the comics. If you have a basic understanding of the character, you can just skip films.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, who the fuck wants to see an Ant-Man solo film? Like, I didn't, so yeah. I didn't. Who the fuck wants to watch a Black Panther film? Is Storm going to show up? No, fuck it.
Yeah, I wish that I had been more discerning with the Eternals.
I wanted to see the Eternals because I knew so little about them, and the fucking film did not make me want to learn more.
No. Like, you would have been way better watching any of the ones that you have missed.
Yeah, but fuck
like,
that.
Any of the ones that you've missed. I'm not even joking.
No, because I skipped Iron Man 3.
I'd say Iron Man 3 is probably better than the Eternals.
No, I refuse. We're never going to find out because I'm not watching Iron Man goddamn 3.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from us today. If you liked the video/podcast, if you're on the video platform on YouTube, you've got the comment section down below. If you're on the podcast format or listening via one of our many audio platforms, you can get in touch with us via an email. And where would you send that email to?
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
But yeah, thank you very much, everybody. If you made it this far, you are our favourite people, and it's going to be a goodbye from me.
Yeah, keep yourself safe and keep yourself happy, guys. We'll see y'all again next week.